Hello, everyone, and welcome to the class of 2024. This session is Life Outside of the Classroom. As many of you may know, my name is Trish Lemmerman. I'm the Director of Student Affairs and Community Engagement here at the FDU School of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. So first, I just want to congratulate you on your acceptance into the Doctor of Pharmacy program. It's a huge accomplishment, and my role here is really to help students outside of the classroom offer programming, events, and various services that can complement what's happening in the classroom, but also address student needs and student concerns. So anything that you are concerned about, anything you're struggling with, you can come to me and the rest of the staff in student affairs to talk about that. So this session today is going to really focus on what life outside of the classroom looks like at the School of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. We have students coming from all walks of life, and we offer something for everyone. So I'm going to go through what we offer. But before we jump into that, I want to talk a little bit about school life balance and why it is so important, especially with the Doctor of Pharmacy program, why it's important for you to have a really well-balanced school and personal life. It's really important for you to function academically and for you to succeed. And that's what we all want to see. We want you all to be successful in this program. And the only way to do so is to make sure that you're self-aware of the balance that you have in and outside of school. So first, the importance of a good school life balance. So the main three things that really factor into your school life balance are academics, personal relationships, and work for those of you who work. It's going to be really important prior to starting this program next week for you to have some hard conversations and sit down and really figure out where your priorities lie. Academics in this program should be the top priority. We know that that's not the case for everyone, and it can't be, right? We know some students who are coming in, have families, have children, are taking care of parents, and we understand that. But you need to make sure that you're not putting too much focus on those personal relationships, because that can then affect your academics. And similarly with work, we have students that come in and are working almost full-time jobs, if not full-time jobs, and then other students who aren't working at all. And you really need to be able to take a hard look at what you have coming up after you get those syllabi in the next few weeks. Take a look at them, lay everything out, try to figure out what your semester is really going to look like, and figure out where you may need to give a little. Your academics typically will decline if they're not prioritized over personal relationships and work. And vice versa, if you are putting too much of a priority on your academics and ignoring those around you in your support system, that's going to cause a strain there. So you really need to make sure that you're providing, if you can't provide the same attention to your personal relationships that you have in the past, it's really important for you to have some honest conversations with those who are around you, those people in that support system, whether that be spouses, parents, siblings, friends, whoever that is that you consider your support system that you typically see on a regular basis. You need to have a conversation with them to explain the importance of this program, why you're doing this program, and really what you're going to need from them and what they can expect from you. Because you don't want them to think that you're just pushing them off. And that becomes very difficult. And sometimes we have students who will come and talk to us and they're struggling with that, and their family's expecting too much from them, and they don't want to tell them that they have to put this program first. So you have to be able to have those conversations. And then work. For those people who do work, it really depends on you personally, and no one is going to be able to tell you how much to work, how many hours you should or should not be working. It's really a personal decision. Everyone has different financial needs. Everyone has different expectations from their supervisors. So those working responsibilities and how many hours you're working versus the hours that you need for not only attending courses, but also that work at home, that studying time that you need to prepare for exams that are coming up, you need to be able to really take a hard look at how much time you can actually dedicate to work. One of my other roles here at the School of Pharmacy and Health Sciences is to sit in to be the chair of the Student Affairs and Academic Progression Committee. And that committee's main responsibility is to meet with students who are not successful in their coursework after each semester, whether that is failing courses or just not having the GPA to be successful. So the GPA for progression is 2.75 to be in good academic standing. So students who are below that can't do rotations, you can't move into your IPPEs, you sometimes are at jeopardy of being dismissed from the program or held back to reevaluate your course load and how successful you can be. We don't want to push students ahead into coursework that they're not prepared for or that they're not able to handle. So we have those conversations, and during those meetings with those students, we talk about these three things. You know, we ask about academics, we ask about the support system, and we ask about work. And 9 times out of 10, there's usually something off balance. Students are either have some external personal factor, whether that's a major life event, a death, a marriage, someone loses a job, a new child. There's something that happened personally that throws everything else off. They can't focus on academics anymore because they need to work for their family, or they can't focus on academics anymore, or they didn't study as much for a test or major exams because there was a big family function that they didn't want to miss, or they were getting a lot of pressure from their families to not miss. So those conversations happen, and we don't want to see students put in that situation. So my advice to you is to really prioritize everything, figure out where your priorities lie, what responsibilities in each of these 3 areas you have to, you can't let go of, you have to do. So if you're a parent right now, especially given the virtual climate, you may have a child at home who's doing virtual learning. So you have to manage that plus your schoolwork. You have to cook dinner for your family. You know, you have to get children ready for bed, whatever the case may be. You need to make sure that you're prioritizing, okay, I know that at 6 o'clock, I need to make dinner for my family. So I need to study prior to or right after. So you need to make sure that you have that all mapped out, so that you know really what the expectations are going to be. And if you see that when you're mapping that out, you can't commit as much time as you used to, you need to have those conversations with those around you about what they really should be expecting from you. So how can you find that balance? Like I just mentioned, setting a schedule for a week. I would say for the semester, a week at a time, but really when you get those syllabi, however it is that you get organized, you need to put all of those important dates, assignments, quizzes, exams, all into your planner, your calendar, so that you know what you have coming up. Whether it's a big calculations exam, whatever the case may be that you have coming up on a Monday, and maybe there's a big family function on that Saturday, but you know you really need to dedicate time to study. Either you need to speak to those around you to say, I'm not going to be able to attend that event, or you need to figure out where you're going to make extra time for studying. Maybe that's cutting back on work hours that week. So really taking a look at what you have coming up. Don't wait until the week of to try to figure all of that out. Don't wait until the week before an exam to figure out what you need to do to get prepared. That should really be happening all semester long, to make sure that you're not caught behind. I've had students who 3 weeks into the semester have asked our student ambassadors when they should start studying. The answer is the first day. Get your syllabi, get yourself organized. That should be your first priority the first week, and then start reviewing immediately. Start getting all that material ready. As we've talked about in some of the summer sessions, and as Dean Rifkin will go over during her academic session, there are not that many exams in each class. So those exams cover a lot of material. So make sure that you're organized, make sure that you're studying, and you're not waiting for the day before those exams. Some exams may happen the 3rd week of school, and you may not have another first exam until the 4th or 5th week. And you have that much more material now that you need to cover. So make sure that you're getting organized, make sure that you're utilizing your time wisely. Next, making time for your personal health, whatever that means to you, whether that's exercising, eating right, just your personal health, really your mental health. This program is intense. This program requires a lot of you. It requires a lot of your personal time, and you need to be able to take those breaks and make time for yourself, whatever that may be, whether that's just sitting down and reading a book, or going on social media for 20 minutes a day, sitting and watching an episode of Schitt's Creek on Netflix, whatever you need to do to just decompress and get yourself out of the rigor of the program just for a few minutes, whether it's every day, every other day, you need to make some time for yourself. Again, those people who exercise, maybe that's making time to squeeze in a run right after you're going to be studying, taking a break from studying to go and exercise, or go and make a nice salad, cook, whatever it is that you do to kind of let go. You need to make sure that you're prioritizing that. Using your support system, I talked about your support system already. In addition to the support system you have at home, you have a support system here at the School of Pharmacy, whether it's the staff and student affairs, admissions and enrollment, experiential education, the faculty, the deans. There is someone here who can help you, whatever you may need. Whether you're struggling in class and you need to speak to a faculty member, whether you are struggling with the stress of the program and you need to seek counseling or some support, we have that for you and we can provide you those resources. So please, please, please reach out and utilize us. And then your support system outside of school, again, utilizing them. I use the family reference a lot, especially for those students who are older, who have obligations to their family, maybe have children. If you're seeing people, I know right now currently I'm not allowing people in my house due to everything that's going on, but if you have someone that you're close to who can look after your kids while you go into another room and study for a half hour, utilize what you have and make sure you set those expectations. If you know that you're the type of person that once you start studying, you're going to lock in for a few hours, and at some point it may not start to sink in, right? Things might start, it's just too much material, it's too much time. So maybe you need to ask your sister or your brother just to text you at, at the first hour or an hour and a half in, just to remind you to take a 20-minute break for yourself because you can't hold yourself accountable. It's okay to ask for that help. Just let your support system know what you need. No one's going to be able to help you if you're not utilizing them. So everyone who is around you wants to see you succeed. It's just a matter of utilizing them for what they can offer you. And I'm going to skip the next one and go right down to reach out to others. Again, reaching out before it gets too much. So utilizing that support system and then reaching out and saying, I can't handle this. So maybe you didn't think that you needed help with your children, or you thought that you were going to be able to study for hours at a time and you lose track of time. Reach out. Just tell somebody that you need help, that you need someone to help hold you accountable. You need somebody to take something off of your plate. If you're struggling in classes, reach out to the faculty members right away. Don't wait until after the first exam, when now that's a third of your grade or whatever the percentage may be, and it might be too late if you've failed it that severely. So reach out if you're really not grasping the material. The material in this program builds on itself. So the concepts that you're learning in your P1 fall semester, you're going to need to have a really great understanding of in order to be successful in your rotations and in your P2, P3, P4 years. So you want to make sure if you're not understanding something, you reach out to the faculty members right away with no hesitation. Again, on that committee that I sit on, we talk to students about that as well. We ask them if they're struggling, if they've reached out to anybody, have they asked their faculty members, did they let their faculty members know that they weren't grasping the material? 9 times out of 10, the student says no. They didn't want the faculty member to think that they couldn't handle it. They didn't want someone to think that they weren't able to succeed in this program. And that's not what our faculty members think. Our faculty members are here to support you. They want to see everyone succeed. And really, they are questioning why students aren't coming to them if they're not understanding it. So no one is going to know that you're struggling unless you speak up. So please don't hesitate with reaching out to faculty members. And again, I will stress, if you are currently seeing a therapist, or you just have a major family event that goes on, a major life event that really adds some additional mental health stress, we have a great relationship with our counseling and psych services over on the Florham campus. I have direct line to the director who works with our students and can put you in contact with them. Don't hesitate to reach out. We have many students who speak to the counselors. This program is really intense, and I can't stress that enough. It's not like any other program that you've been in. Some of you are still completing your bachelor's degree. Others of you have already gone through master's program, maybe even doctorate programs, but this program is very intense. It's very time consuming. And sometimes you need somebody else outside of the support system, outside of this bubble to talk to. So reach out to me. I can put you in contact. It's completely confidential, and I can make that appointment for you. In addition to those services, if you are a student who receives accommodations, disability support services, works directly with our students, you are eligible to receive those accommodations. It's easier for us to put those accommodations in place and you decide not to use them, rather than you not use them, get through your first exam, realize that you really needed that extra time, or you needed whatever the other accessibility need is, and now we have to try to race to get it in place before that next exam. So please don't wait until 3 days before your exam, 2 days before your exam, and say, I had accommodations at my previous institution. For this exam, I'm really going to need to utilize them. That's not how it works. There's paperwork involved. There's some processes that have to be cleared. We have to set up our exam software to give you the extra time if that's what your accommodation allows. So please reach out. It's much easier for us to get that all settled now. And then if you don't want to use it your first exam, that's fine. We'll keep that turned off, but you can't pick and choose when you're using those accommodations. And we'll go over all of that if you are a student who receives accommodations, but please reach out. We have, again, a great support. You can reach out to myself or Justin Zombik, the student affairs counselor, who works directly with our disability support services. But I cannot stress enough, reach out regardless of what the issue is. There is a support for you. There's a resource we could provide you. Even your student ambassadors, reach out to them. They're the only ones who have actually been through what you're going through. They're the only ones who have been through the FDU School of Pharmacy program and can provide you the real life experience from a student perspective. So utilize them the next few days and make sure you're keeping in contact with them throughout the semester. And last, and I should have put this last on the list, rewarding yourself. It is extremely important to reward yourself. I mentioned Netflix before, but if you know you have a big exam coming up, maybe the day after that exam or that weekend, you decide, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take 30 minutes to myself and I'm just going to watch TV, or I'm going to go and have that dinner with my friends that I've been putting off. So look at what you have coming up and make little goals for yourself. If I get this grade on this exam, then this is what I'm going to give myself. I'm going to spend $50 on Amazon, whatever it may be. I'm going to go to that park that I've been driving past and I just haven't had the time to stop at. Make those little rewards for yourself. It's extremely important for you to get through this program and to see the little accomplishments that you're making along the way. Your biggest accomplishment has been being accepted into this program, but you need to also recognize that yourself and reward yourself for the success that you have. So please, please, please utilize that, and make sure that you're utilizing all of the resources above and the tips and what some of our students have said, will say throughout this week about how they've found that balance. But everyone here wants to see you succeed. We had a student ambassador who said that during one of our Instagrams over the month of July, that each one of you is here because you submitted an application. On paper, you were deemed qualified. Then you came in and you interviewed and you wrote a personal statement, and a committee sat down and looked at that and decided that you have what it takes to be in this program. You are going to be an asset to the Doctor of Pharmacy program. So you just need to know that yourself. Everyone here knows that you can do it. You just need to prove that to yourself, and you need to have some of those hard conversations in order to do that. So make sure you're having those conversations. Make sure you're setting yourself up for success. Everyone here knows that you can be successful. We just need to make sure that you're rewarding yourself and that you know that you can also be successful. But you're here for a reason, and we know that each of you has an awesome story. You have great value to this program, and you're going to be an asset to this program. We're here to help you see that in yourself. So again, healthy lifestyle. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. We talked about it a little bit. Exercise, sleeping regularly, eating a healthy diet, making time for yourself, spending time with family and friends, recognizing when you're experiencing too much stress, and knowing your limitations. So again, all of these things go into that personal health, that mental health, your physical health, just whatever you need to do to decompress. Everyone does something different, whether that's puzzles. I can name a million things. I always go back to Netflix. That's what I do. I like to sit down at the end of the day and just watch an episode of whatever mindless TV I can turn on, to just kind of decompress from everything that I've done all day long. So whatever that is for you, make sure that you're doing that. And your cohort specifically coming in to a virtual format for your first semester, you're going to really need to make sure that you have this built in. It's going to be really easy for you to sit on Zoom all day long, go to these classes, and then just continue to be on your computer to try to study. And it's going to be a lot of screen time. At least when you were in the building, we have those breaks for personal space and socialization. You really need to make sure that you're building those pieces into your daily schedule in this virtual world that we're in. So again, everyone is different. You can talk to our student ambassadors. They each share a different story about how they balance all of this, how they create healthy lifestyles. But just make sure that you're making time for yourself and that you're spending time with family and friends, whatever you need to do to really just take a break from the program and make sure that you're keeping yourself healthy, because that's important. If you're not healthy, you're not going to be able to study. When you're not eating right, when you're not sleeping right, then your brain's not working right and you're not studying. So you really need to make sure that you're really self-aware of when you're taking on too much and when you need to reach out. So enough about how to balance everything. Another way that you can decompress, kind of build yourself, build your resume, and something that I personally love working on with our pharmacy students is how you can enhance what you're doing in the classroom through your involvement and engagement. So these are all great ways to take what you're learning in the classroom and put them into practice in a non-stressful way. This should be fun. All of these involvement opportunities should be a great way to relax, release, get to know your peers and colleagues a little bit better, network, and really build your resume and figure out what you want to do in the world of pharmacy. So the first thing that we have already built in, it's a mandatory program for all cohorts, but it really helps you see how we are taking what you're doing in the classroom and strategically building programs outside of the classroom. So we have a co-curricular pathways program. So each student will be required to complete 5 events throughout the course of the semester. And we'll go over this more in detail during Beyond the Curriculum. And you're gonna get a little taste of it while you use Rxengage throughout your orientation. But we are really committed to, again, bridging that gap between what's happening in the classroom to the experiences outside of the classroom and making sure that you're growing professionally and personally to become a better pharmacist. We want you to be a leader in the pharmacy world, and these programs are designed to help give you a toolkit that you can go back to and say, oh, I remember when this speaker came in and talked about that, so I do have that knowledge. Or I worked with this patient population when I did XYZ activity. So we are trying to strategically build that in, and through this program we can track and assess if those programs are meeting those expectations. So the program is divided into 5 categories. Each category is representative of one of our core tenets. They also map to our accrediting bodies' learning outcomes. So we have think, communicate, advocate, lead, and implement. On Rxengage, you'll be able to see, I'll show you Rxengage in a few minutes. On there, you'll really be able to see each of the learning outcomes on the pathway. It'll detail what you're supposed to be gaining from those programs in that category. So each category has one main learning objective. And then you're required to do 5. We encourage you to do more. Most students do an average of 8 activities in the co-curricular tracks. But really, we don't tell you what you have to do. This program is really designed for you to build your career story, your specialization. So if we're having events on heart disease throughout the month of October, and there's one in each of those categories, you can go to those and build your story and build that professional resume and portfolio for the things that you've done, and be able to talk about them. At the end of each semester, there's a brief assessment that you have to do based on the events that you've attended to get completion. The great thing for the P1 cohort is that your HIPAA and OSHA training that you'll be doing later this week and your LASI assessment that you'll also be doing are built into this program. So you'll already have potentially two tenants already checked off. So that will help you. You only have to do 3, and this is through the course of the full year. So each year you get a new track. So you have from August to May to complete this track and attend 5 events. This semester we'll be offering all of our programming virtually. There'll be recorded sessions as well, and we're figuring out the assessment pieces behind those to make sure that you're getting the same experience as students who attend those events. But most of those events last semester were held in the evening, so it makes it really easy for students who have other obligations to attend those events. So again, you'll want to stay on Rxengage to see what's coming up, but this co-curricular pathway program is the first way that we kind of throw you into learning outside of the classroom and pretty much force you to do it. But students will soon learn how much they're gaining from these programs, and students will also go above and beyond those five programs. The next thing we have that you can get involved in are our student organizations. So our student organizations, we currently have 6 with 1 pending approval that we are hoping to get approved by September. We have the American Pharmacists Association, also known as APHA, Industry Pharmacists Organization, which is known as IPHO, National Community Pharmacists Association, NCPA, our Student Society of Health Systems Pharmacists, SSHP, also known as NJSHP. People will use those interchangeably, and I'll explain why in a minute. Our Student Pharmacists Association, SPA, and the Rokai Society, which is an honor society. And pending approval is our American Association of Pharmaceutical Scientists organization. So each of these organizations serves a different purpose. They all have very varying missions and really look at different areas of pharmacy. So the first one I want to talk about is our Student Pharmacists Association, SPA. So that is an in-house organization. They're really focused on the student body, providing social activities, bringing cohorts together. Also, they will also collaborate with the other organizations to host some broad-based disease state programming, fundraising, awareness month programming. So that's really what their focus is on the social aspect and being the voice of the student body. That organization will be looking for a delegate for the P1 cohort, probably relatively quickly. They have one delegate from each cohort to serve as the sounding voice for their cohort in the organization. APHA is the next organization I want to jump to. That is our other umbrella organization. So the American Pharmacists Association is one of the larger pharmacy organizations in the nation, and it's an umbrella organization. So if you're not sure which area of pharmacy you want to specialize in, this organization is great because it's going to provide you the opportunity to explore different areas of pharmacy, explore policies that are being written at the government level, and explore different, again, disease states, different areas of pharmacy. And they do a lot of collaboration with our other student organizations to offer some specialized events as well. Then we have our specialized organizations. So Industry Pharmacist Organization is for students who are interested in being in the industry realm of pharmacy. National Community Pharmacist is for students interested in locally run community pharmacies and what it takes to kind of own your own business and be a business owner and run a pharmacy from the ground up. And then our Student Society of Health Systems Pharmacists is for students who are looking to go into residencies, are looking to work in hospitals. This is the organization that you're going to want to focus on and get involved in sooner rather than later. Interviews for your residencies come up pretty quickly. They'll happen in typically in December of your P4 year. And residencies are looking at your involvement. They want to see what you're involved in. And this organization is going to be something that they want to see to know that you have the knowledge of what a residency is and what it entails. And then the one that's pending approval is our Association of Pharmaceutical Scientists. That's really going to be a research-based organization exploring pharmaceutical research and diving deeper into that. And they are currently, they've met all of the expectations of the university. We're just waiting for the national board to send us the approval that organization can move forward, but they will be doing some some outreach for student members because they will need to build up that membership. So if research is something you're interested in, you can check them out. And then the last organization is the Rokai Society, which is our honor society. In order to qualify for the Rokai Society, you not only need to have a 3.0, minimum of a 3.0 GPA, but you also need to be in the top 10% of your cohort. So with your cohort, if it stays the numbers that it is, it would be 18 students. We run the GPAs at the end of your P2 fall semester. So at the conclusion of that fall semester, when you're halfway through the didactic courses, we'll take a look at those GPAs and we'll calculate how many students are in the class at that time and rank your GPAs. And the top, typically it's between 13 and 15. Your class is the biggest class we've had, so it could be upwards of 18. Those people will receive an invitation to join this organization. There are no other qualifying criteria, no involvement requirements at all outside of these in these other organizations. So it's really just GPA based. And if someone declines, it doesn't bump down to the next person. So something to strive for, something to, make sure that you're starting off strong with your academics. If this society is something that you want to be a part of, then you need to have your GPA strong from day one. Our lowest GPA is typically around a 3.6 that gets accepted into this program. 3.5, 3.6 is about the lowest I've seen it go when we do that 20%. So although the minimum is a 3.0, that 20% really narrows that down. Some other opportunities for you to be involved. We have our student ambassadors, which are the students that you're seeing this week who are really dedicated to welcoming the incoming class and serving as mentors for you over the next few weeks. And throughout the next year, they're going to be at various campus events. So it's really good opportunity if you're interested in networking, if you're interested in giving back to the university, and really sharing your knowledge and helping students be prepared. So a lot of our students take on this role because they want to share something that they maybe didn't have before they got here. Maybe there's a resource or something that they weren't aware of and they wish that they would have known during their orientation. So they come back and they share those experiences. Our student office assistants help in our student affairs department. So they work directly with my team and the staff in the student affairs suite. They help with everything from setting up events, preparing admissions packets and enrollment packets, helping faculty members set up for events, breaking down classrooms, resetting those classrooms, welcoming guest speakers into the building. So those students really probably know more about what's going on in the building than anybody in the building because they're there, pre-COVID. They were there first thing in the morning when the doors open to locking the doors at 10 o'clock at night. They do the last rounds in the building with the security guard, make sure that they've done all their tasks for the evening. So they really know what's going on in the building. And it's a paid position. So if you want to stay connected, you want to network and also maybe make a little bit of money on the side, it's not much money, but it's a little bit, then this is a position for you. We're going to currently hold on these positions and offering them until we know when we're back in the building, but it will be an opportunity for you hopefully in the future. The next is being a cohort representative on a committee. So the Doctor of Pharmacy program has various committees that really serve as the gears that keep the program running. We have a curriculum committee, we have a co-curriculum committee, we have an interprofessional development committee, we have the admissions committee, strategic planning committee, and we have student representation on all of those committees, one representative typically from each cohort. And again, they serve as the student voice. So the students really have a voice in what's happening in the program. So on the Student Affairs and Academic Progression Committee, the students who are on that committee review the handbook with us, review the manual, put calls out to their cohorts to get feedback on changes that they want to see in the manual. The curriculum committee, the students get to speak up and have a voice in courses and how things are working and things that are on the table to be approved. And they sit in on those meetings. So strategic plan and self-study committees, we have student representation on that as well. So our students are really involved in the decision-making of the campus. So at some point, probably in the fall semester, you'll get an email asking, if you're interested in applying, there'll be a brief description of each committee, and then you can go ahead and apply, and the committee will review your applications and communicate with the deans who we want to extend an invitation to. So that's a great way to get involved. It's a great way to be working alongside faculty members to improve the program. And then our last two things are Student Scholar with our service learning courses. So we offer service learning courses in three populations. Each of those courses have a small didactic piece and then primarily focus on the hands-on patient population interaction. So those three courses are our pediatrics course, our low-income homeless, which also looks at HIV positive population, and our geriatrics course where we work with an assisted living location. So those three courses we're continuing to run. We are creating virtual spaces to have those patient interactions and work alongside those populations. And each year, an alumni of those programs serves as a student scholar, and the student scholar's role is really to be there during those hands-on experiences to help students it's awkward to have some of the interactions. Some of the patient populations you can be really uncomfortable around, and that's what we want. You need to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And our student scholars are there to help you get comfortable. They have been through it. They have been through that awkward phase. They have worked themselves through it. They have shined in their classes, and we have asked them to serve as student scholars, to be the leaders in place of a faculty member being in the facility with you. I lead those courses. I typically am there on Fridays, but I'm going to different sites. So the student scholar is really the one who is there. They're coordinating with students. They're making sure students are there on time, and they're making sure students are engaged. So they're going to push you a little bit. So we ask the student scholars to almost serve as faculty members in those courses and provide us with feedback on what can be done. So it's a really awesome position for students who have taken the service learning courses. It's in a way to also continue to keep that hands-on service with the community even after you finish that course. If you want to learn more about service learning courses, there's going to be a session held on that where you can hear from some of our students who have been through those courses. It's they're great electives to give you just that experience with patients outside of your rotation settings. So there's a little less rigor. It's really just more conversation, really just speaking to people and learning those communication skills that you need in order to be successful. And these courses were built from student feedback. So if you're interested in those courses, make sure you come to the session on service learning. And then the last is faculty mentored research. So if you're interested in research, or if you're not sure what research is, or if you're interested in it, make sure you reach out to Dr. Cho, Dr. Guo. They're two of our faculty members who really oversee a lot of the research efforts. Dr. Cho will be doing a presentation on Thursday about getting involved in research. If you don't even know how to get started, that's what that session is for. She's going to go over what research means, the types of research she's done with students, and how students can get started in reaching out to faculty members to participate in research. All of our faculty members are typically participating in research, and many times students can participate with them and be co-authors on articles and help with studies. So if that's something you're interested in, you need to get involved sooner rather than later and have those conversations. Because if you're looking for a fellowship and you want to promote some of the research that you've done, you need to have that done prior to. You can't wait until your P3, P4 year to start saying you want to do research, and you really need to start thinking about that as soon as you walk in the door. So check out that session on Thursday, and she'll be able to provide more information for you. So the last and biggest piece of technology that we use to keep you connected to what's happening outside of the classroom is our Rxengage software. I know that most of you have logged in at this point to register for orientation, to complete some of our address verifications, to maybe even check out the orientation schedule. But I want to go through it. I want to walk you through some of the different pieces of the software just to get you a little bit more familiar on how to navigate it and kind of what you can do with this software. So this is your main landing page for the FDU School of Pharmacy. So over here, you have your main menu. When you click on here, you can change your account, you can change your name, you can put a picture up there so people know who you are, and then you have a couple of different menus over here. So this is your menu bar, and I'm not going to dive too much into that. You won't really need access to that right now. What I really want to focus on I accidentally clicked on my profile, is this page. This is your main landing page. So these are our notifications. Typically there's 3 up. It's the summer, so there aren't as many. By the time that you are starting courses, we will usually have an event of the week highlighted. Any major announcements about your pathways or anything will be here. Right now we have this white coat order form for our P2s through P4. So anything like that will be on here. It's our alerts. Those are the 3 biggest things that we want you to be paying attention to. Once you join organizations, you're going to see your memberships listed next. Right now, you most likely only see the class of 2024. Then you're going to see your events. So these are the events that are coming up. They're going to show you 4 at a time. If you RSVP to an event, it's going to show you my events right above this. So anything you RSVP to is going to be right above here in between your memberships and your all events. I haven't RSVP'd to anything yet, so it's not showing up. So when you get on this page, it's going to show you exactly what you have coming up right away. So in these events, once you click into them, you can see the date and time. There's an export to your Google Calendar, your iCal. Like I said, all of our events this year are going to be online, so you can join the events online. There's a link right here, and that'll have the location. There'll be a description. If there's anything you need to read ahead of time, so sometimes we host journal clubs, or there's a speaker coming in who has shared material that they really want you to review before that event. That's all going to be uploaded right here in this section. And then the last piece is your RSVPing. So you want to be RSVPing to all of your events as well, and that'll be here. And then in this, you can also see anything else that's being offered by the FDU School of Pharmacy and Health Sciences or whatever organization is hosting. If this is connected to a pathway, if one of your events is connected to a pathway, you're going to see that under here, under categories. So this says it's connected to new student orientation. When you get your co-curricular pathways, they're all labeled with a category. So if you're looking for a Think event, there's going to be a category called P1 Think Event 2021. And you're going to just click on that category and you can see everything that's coming up. The next thing on this landing page is the news. So we use this news for really career opportunities, scholarships, faculty accomplishments. So the news, I think, is one of our most underutilized pieces of this software, but it's going to be one of your most important. As you start looking for internships, as you start looking for career opportunities, this is how we push them out. We don't email them out. We're not pushing them through any other platforms. This is where you need to come. So it'll show you the top 3. If you're part of an organization and they post news articles and it's set for members only, it'll show up here as well. You can also get to this news section up at the top. So up at the top, it says news. You can click on it and again, see everything that we have posted to date. You can see we have our career development are in blue categories. I'm just going to type the word scholarship over here and you can see that you can search for scholarships. It automatically populates the scholarships, and you can see we have our scholarships in red logos. So if you see a scholarship if you see the red logo, that's indicating to you that that's a scholarship, and then your other anything career internships are going to be blue logos. And then we have our faculty accomplishments that we'll post periodically. If faculty members participate in research, if they get recognized, if they have awards, we post that in a black logo. So you'll notice those throughout the year, but make sure you come in here if you're looking. There's scholarships. It's free money. So if you are looking for what scholarships are offered, please go through here, search for scholarships and take a look at what we have to offer. Again, the events tab up here is going to open up a much larger window for events. You're going to see the full calendar of events. You can search for events by categories. Categories is what we use. We don't use themes. We're going to use categories for all events. And it's only going to show you categories that are coming up. So right now, the only category we have that we're offering programs in is new student orientation. Once we hit the end of August, this is going to be filled with all of the pathway categories. So it's going to be really easy for you to say, you know what, I need to fill my P1 Think and come in here to categories and click that. And I'll go over that more in Beyond the Curriculum when we talk about the Co-Curricular Pathways program. Your next tab is organizations. That tab is going to provide you a list of the current organizations that you can join. And you can go ahead, it's going to show me that I'm a member of these organizations. but here it's going to say request to join. I'm a member of all the organizations since I'm running the page. On your end, it's going to look a little different. When you request to join, that sends a message to the president of the organization to say, John Smith wants to join your organization, and they'll reach out to you and let you know what you need to do. On here, though, you can view their gallery. You can see what they've participated in. You can read a bio. You can go to their national website. And you can also see any news that they've had and also any of their officers. So if you want to reach out to the president, you can click directly on this. It's going to give you that student's email address and you can contact them directly. There's also a contact button up here as well. If you have a general question, maybe you're wondering how much the dues are and they didn't answer the question down here, you can go ahead and hit that contact button. And again, it's going to send an email directly to the president or whoever else is indicated as the contact person for this organization, and they'll be able to get right back to you via email. So make sure that you look at this, figure out which organizations you're interested in, and you can go here and read a brief description about them. And then our forms, really, if there's just any forms that need to be filled out, will be on here. So your name tags, your white coat, anything like that. I know many of you filled out forms for us, so that's a simple tab. The last thing I want to point out down here are just our campus links and our paths. So I am obviously a part of all of the pathways. For you, it's going to show you your new student orientation, your perks program, and your class pathway. So once you get to that, this is a quick way for you to access them. And these are major campus links that we have that'll bring you to our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter, our website. The other way to access your paths, and the way that I do it, I never scroll down to the bottom. You click on this P, whatever letter you have, insert initial here, and click on paths. So paths are going to be used for 3 things for your cohort. First, your new student orientation, which we'll go through in a minute. Second, your co-curricular pathways. And then the last one is our perks program. So our perks program is a rewards program that we offer. I'll open that one up first. You can see last year's perks program, where we offer different rewards for attending events and social activities. So this is outside of co-curricular programs. It encompasses all of our co-curricular programs that we offer, but it'll also encompass any social event that the campus is hosting outside of our weekly programming. So if a student organization is having a karaoke night, that's included on here. So anything that you're doing outside of the classroom, we want to reward you because we know how much time it really is taking for you to participate in these programs. So you can see our first level was a card magnet. Then we had a drawstring bag, wireless charger or power bank, hooded long sleeve t-shirts or earbuds. Most involved, this was the most coveted, I think, award, was our most involved student parking spot, which was a parking spot directly in front of our building. There was a sign that said it. We had the license plate, so only that student could park in those spots, and there was one for each cohort. And then it goes on, all the way up to Student Recognition Award, hooding ceremony tickets for P4s, your name tag combos, Broadway tickets. So through here, this is how you track it. You're going to see you have to do 5 events. Here you have to do 10 events, but it's going to show you 5 just so you can keep track of how many events that you have accomplished. This one requires 35, and I only did 10 of those events, so I don't qualify for this. So you'll be able to keep track of yourself. Up here too, it shows you your progress bars. So this is a really fun, everyone gets added to it. If you come and claim your prize, fantastic. If you don't, we don't hunt you down for it. We're not going to tell you, that you haven't come and picked it up yet. We may see you in the hallway. We'll tell you, hey, I have your magnet, or I have your drawstring bag, but this is really just an incentive program for you. We want you to be rewarded. Again, we talked about rewarding yourself. This is our way of rewarding you for getting outside of the classroom, getting involved, and taking that time for yourself, and just being a part of our community. So we wanted to give that back to you because we know how hard it is. So I'm going to jump into your new student orientation. We're not going to go over co-curricular pathways today. We'll go over that during Beyond the Curriculum, so you don't need to worry about that. What I want to focus on right now is orientation, and just show you this. There's going to be an orientation video as well, but I just want to show you this again. In case you don't fully watch my orientation overview video, I want to just emphasize it again here. So again, your pathway is for orientation. You have 5 domains: think, communicate, lead, and advocate, and implement. So in each of these, you're going to click on them. It's going to show you what's required, what's optional. If it's required and then has multiple items, you need to complete all 3 of these items in order to get this checked off. Similar to what the perks program just looked like that I showed you, there's going to be a progress bar up here that will fill in and tell you how far along you are. But this is how you're going to track through orientation. Make sure that you're completing everything. So if you haven't watched the video yet, so I know the academic connections and resources session is on Thursday. So this session that I'm providing you a video with is on Tuesday. If you haven't watched that video yet, you can go on, you can click it. And once you view the video, it's going to ask you to answer a few questions. And then you'll be given credit for completing that video, and then you attend the session. So make sure you're watching these videos before the session. But again, this is a good way for you to just track what you're doing and keep yourself on point with this. So again, there'll be a full video that goes over your orientation program and how to navigate this a little bit more in detail. But this is your pathways. This is what you're going to be probably utilizing the software the most for. And it's the reason we acquired the software, was for this pathway program for your co-curricular programs. I'm going to show you the P1 path from last year, just so you can see kind of what it looked like. Again, think P1, attend an event, communicate. You'll see the LASI assessment is here. So as soon as you upload your LASI assessment, that's going to populate. You'll see here those outcomes that I mentioned are listed here as well. And one thing that I haven't mentioned is your program advisor. So each student is assigned a program advisor. You'll have lunch with them at some point this week. You're going to need to meet with your program advisor twice each semester. And at that time, you're going to need to print this out for them and bring it to them and have it prepared for them, whether it's via email or in person, so that they can see where your progress is in this. So you can click print view. It's going to populate this nice blue and maroon FDU themed co-curricular pathways progress report that you can print out, save it as a PDF, and give to your faculty members. The other thing that you are also going to be required to provide them with is your co-curricular transcript. So again, going back to this menu bar over here, your co-curricular transcript is found in this menu. You're going to click on that, and again, it's going to populate this nice FDU branded blue and red co-curricular transcript. It's going to show every organization you're involved in. Let me scroll down. It's going to show all the events that you've attended. You have the option to prioritize them. So if you really want to give this to your faculty advisor or add this to your resume and be able to track what you've done, you're going to be able to take, if you want to customize it to show that you have really focused on HIV and the AIDS population, you can move that up. You can click this and move it up again. Move that down. There we go. Switch them. You can hide things. So I don't want my HIPAA and OSHA training to show. So you can move this around and organize this however you want and make it more customizable for you and your purposes. If you upload anything, that'll also be shown in here. So if you have completed a faculty mentored presentation or poster, you can upload those on here as well. So those are the things that you're going to need to know for your program advisors, and we'll go over that again during Beyond the Curriculum. We'll hammer this home a little bit more, but this is really important that you know how to just access your co-curricular transcript, which is going to show everything that you've done over the entirety of your program. So P4 year, when you're going into interviews and you can't remember, you remember that there was something significant that you participated in your P1 year, it's going to capture it here. So make sure that you're utilizing this. And again, your pathways is the other big thing in this menu that you're going to need to be utilizing. So this is our software. This is how we communicate. Through your class page, we can send out messages to your cohort specifically, but this is where we really have the up-to-date information. So if an event changes, it's going to be on here. So please make sure you familiarize yourself with this. There's an app called Quark, C-O-R-Q. We'll talk more about that in our Q&A. C-O-R-Q. Download that. It's going to be pretty much the calendar of this. It's your Rxengage, but it's an app version. You're going to be able to look at organizations and you'll be able to organize your events. A lot of students last year utilized that. It was easy to export right from that app to their calendar on their phone. It sent them notifications that things were coming up. So CORQ is the app that is utilized for this. And I'll also send that information out to your cohort as well. But you're going to want to download that app. But to get Rxengage to this level and to be able to see your pathways, you're only going to be able to do that on your iPad, going to a web browser on your phone, or using a computer. So make sure that you familiarize yourself with this. It's going to be really pivotal for you moving through the next 4 years. So with that, I just want to welcome you all to the School of Pharmacy. If there's anything that I haven't mentioned that you've either heard about happening at another program, that you know friends in another pharmacy school are hosting this really awesome event, or really anything at all, please let me know. We are open to new programming. We are open to new ideas. Like I mentioned earlier, those service learning courses came from student feedback. Students wanted more interaction with patient populations, and those were developed out of a response for that. These student organizations have been built out of what students are interested in. So if there's a specialty area that you don't see, it's because students haven't shown that interest yet, and you may be the one who needs to speak up and say, I really want to start this organization. I have an interest in this area, and here's an organization that supports that. So we will walk you through that, how to start an organization. We are open for anything. If you have a great guest speaker that you think would be perfect at one of our many events that we host, please let us know. We are always looking for new ideas and new ways to engage with you. Again, unfortunately, due to the circumstances, all of our programming this fall will be virtual, but we have some really awesome ideas. As long as you put yourself out there, we're going to provide you a lot of social interaction, a lot of ways to get to know a lot of different people before you step foot on campus. So make sure that you're participating, make sure you're getting engaged. And again, you can reach out to myself or Justin Zombik in the Student Affairs office at any time throughout this week, throughout your semester, throughout your 4 years here. We're open to any ideas that you have, and we're open to anything that you need. So if you need something, please don't hesitate to reach out. I can't stress that enough. And again, welcome to FDU.